Hello, guys and gals. Welcome to Miyagi Mornings, episode 44. If I've got my head screwed on right, I'm not sure that I do, but I think I do. And what are we going to talk about today? Investing, but don't worry, it won't be about cryptocurrency. It's about the stock market. And as the title may have indicated, we're going to talk about the Gamestop and AMC fiasco going on and the exchanges and eventually the government protecting the hedge funds. We're going to talk about the apparent win for the people that isn't. And I'm even going to draw a parallel to, believe it or not, the Capitol riots, which I hate using that term because that's not what riots look like. Not that there wasn't some really wrong things done there, but that's not a riot. If you want a riot, just go back and look at footage from what, all the cities across the United States looked like this last summer. And that's what riots look like. Or go look at Trump's inauguration day in D.C. and you'll see what riots look like. But this isn't political. This is just factual, which really is hard for some people to grasp. And it's also going to require the fighting of emotion. So if you haven't seen what's going on yet, what's happened is social media, specifically Reddit, has created this community of users who have decided we're going to stick it to the man, specifically the hedge funds. And without getting too technical with you today, let me just explain to you that hedge funds make money by taking short positions on stock. And don't think of short in duration. What they're actually doing, without explaining it, because it'll just hurt people's brains that are going to have a hard time understanding it, they make money when stocks go down. They take positions that allow them to profit from the misery of others. And then they use their huge influence and billions of dollars to push public relations campaigns. Simply the fact that they've taken that short position is bad news for that stock, and the stock self-fulfills its prophecy. And they're already betting on a stock that's already failing. It's not like they go out and do this to really successful companies. They do this to companies that are in harm's way already. In this case, when you look at something like Gamestop, they're a retail outlet in the middle of a COVID pandemic. This is part of what hurt them so bad. Or AMC. Think about how that works. Those are people going to how many movie theaters are dark right now. So they were good picks to short, but people are like, I'm tired of the rich winning. So they all got together on Reddit. I think Elon Musk had something to do with this too, by the way. Yeah, go ahead and trust him. Sure, okay, yeah, he's like Iron Man. All right, simpletons. Anyway, they just started buying GameStop. And it went from like $4 to like $300. This is like company on the verge of bankruptcy, and their stock went up from like $8 to $300. Now this hurts the people taking the short position, at least on paper, at least up front, at least you think it does. Keep that in mind as we go on further. Because when you take a short position and the stock goes up, you lose. And there's a lot of leveraged money in this game. They're not actually putting up all the money. They're using something called options, which again I don't want to get into today. Because as I've tried to explain this to people in real life, I've watched their brain go into cognitive agony. It's one of those things like fractional reserve. It's so simple that it repels the mind. But just understand, down is good, up is bad. And going from 4 to 300 is really bad. So, like TD Ameritrade, Robinhood, etc., all these places that like consumer level people invest have said, whoa, this is not, man, this is bad. This is really bad. People can get hurt. We don't want them to get hurt. No, we have to protect the hedge funds. So they've halted trading on these stocks. Now, here's the thing. The excuse, people are going to get hurt, is true. And I know what you're thinking, man, these are just a bunch of people took like $300 of their $600 stimulus and decided, I'm going to stick it to the man and I don't give a shit if I lose it. That's how it starts. That's how it starts. This is going to end badly. And they're going to win bigger than ever. They're going to get help doing it. People are going to shriek and scream when it happens and say, I didn't understand what I was doing. Yeah, we know that. And the government's going to come in to help and they're going to use it. Here's where it comes in. Just like the Capitol Hill riots, for a whole shitload of new legislation that screws you over and screws over the people they're claiming to protect, which is you. But they have a perfect excuse to do it. Yeah, that's what's going to happen. And people are going to shriek, but they rigged the game. The game was all, the astronaut is getting shot in the head by the other astronaut. It always was rigged. You're just seeing it now. And that's the good that can come from this. Let's talk about the good before I tell you the bad. The good that can come from this is maybe a whole shitload of you guys wake up out there and realize how rigged the game is and therefore figure out other ways to play your own game. And we're not going to get into that because in my mind, one of those other ways is cryptocurrency, and I don't want to do another cryptocurrency episode this week. So the good that comes from it is a wake-up call that not only is the game rigged, not only do they profit off both ups and downs over and over again, but when they get in trouble, the Congress, who took almost a year to give you $600, will break their necks overnight to save the hedge funds that they claim to hate who fund their campaigns. That's the wake-up call. And I know many of you are like, well, I knew that shit. Yeah, but most people don't. And most of these people on Reddit, most of those people doing this, they're leftists, right? They're corporate leftists. They're not in the corporate world, but they believe in the corporate leftist politician. They think that really it's evil Republicans that have been doing this. No, it's both sides, folks. And they're about to get a hard-ass lesson because their side's in charge, and they're about to have their side shove a giant dildo up their ass and find out it's got burrs on it. No lube, nothing, straight up. That's what's coming. You're going to get nailed. And this is the other side of it. Do you think all those evil hedge fund managers are just, oh shit, we don't know what to do now? No. See, this is what no one's going to tell. Everybody's going to tell you how wrong it is that they halted trading and some way you can figure out how to still buy the stock. It's too late to buy this stock. And I'll get to why in a second. I'm going to tell you the truth about what's going on. These hedge funds know that they have their six covered by the government and by the trading platforms because they own both of them. And they're ratcheting up their short positions, and they're going to hit this thing all the way down. You think you've gotten one over on them, and what you've done is taking the target that was hidden in the weeds, you've put it way up in the air hovering. Where not only can they shoot it and knock it down, they can shoot it like a trick shooter, like a can spinning, where it's like pew, 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 all the way down. All the way down. And this is what's more dangerous. Now people believe in this system. So we've halted trading here. You know what we're going to do next? We're going to pick another one and do it again. And now, instead of these retail investors throwing in $300, maybe I should use my 401k or my IRA money or maybe the kids' college fund. Because look what happened last time. If it only goes up half as much as it did last time, I'll be a millionaire. But you already played that game. Let me tell you what's going on, folks. People involved in this and the people that are about to jump in the pool are acting on emotion, not logic, and that is always what good investors play on. Your emotion against their logic, and you always lose because they're more patient and they're more experienced. So all these people think what they did is they all went swimming when shark fins were going around. And the sharks were a whole bunch of little black-tip sharks that tend not to bite you anyway. About 3-footers. Ones that when they get too close, you kind of poke them and they just kind of swim away. And they put their little shark suit on that gives them comfort, spray themselves down with shark repellent. And occasionally a shark comes up and nibbles on an arm and it doesn't really hurt, kind of tickles, and you just kind of pet the little shark and he goes away. Just out over the breakers, there's these big-ass fins going back and forth. Those are tiger sharks, basking sharks, great white sharks. And they know that you're sitting there in that little gut between the sandbars, and that sandbar right here, that's your temporary fix. It's a little bit too shallow. They can't quite get across it. They know the tide's coming in. And they're just waiting. Because the swing will come as random as the tide. Or as I should say, not as random, as predictable as the tide. When the tide comes in, and you're now all comfortable, and the water comes up just over that second sandbar, in come the big boys. And it will be a bloodbath. And yeah, the person only threw $300 in, but now it's $10,000. And in their head, what started out as a righteous investment, right? I don't care if I lose. It's only $300 and the government gave it to me. That's what's being said. And to some extent, it's true. But many of these people have never seen their name next to $10,000 in their life. And now all of a sudden they're thinking, well, it's going to moon, man. Same thing that happened with people stupidly getting into cryptocurrency. It's going to be worth 20. I'm not selling yet. But the smart ones start to sell. And then all of a sudden, the ability to sell goes away. Because if you turn off the buy button, you've effectively turned off the sell button. And now you have to sit there while the sharks come. And then the fall begins to happen. And because they're institutional investors and they invest in a totally different way than you do, you have to sit there while you watch your buddy get his ass eaten. But we're going to go to another stock. And now they know your game. Now they know exactly when to line up on the sandbar and come get you. And they're going to skin you alive. And then, dun, dun, dun! The government is here to help you! And a whole new rash of protective regulations will be put in place that do nothing to curtail corporations, hedge funds, investment banking, because they write all the rules, will be put in place that further restrict your liberty and freedom economically. Yay, you! You did it! Now, I want to be clear. I love the concept. I think it's a great idea. I love seeing this game exposed for what it is. But I also know the way emotion works, and I know how professional investors work, and what we do is we figure out where emotion is leading a pack. Okay? We position ourselves in front of your emotion, and when your emotion comes, because people think, well, they want the top. No. No. We can make 5% of our money in a day. We're out when the sun goes down. We're done. 5% in a day? You want to annualize that? And there's times when you know the emotion is overrun, so you might make 100% in a day or a week on a little piece of money for you, and you're out. And then people are like, oh, you should have stayed in. It was way up here. We're already over here. Ahead of your next emotional play. And the people I'm talking about are way better at it than we are. Because they can actually cause the emotion. You've now created your own emotional surge. And they know exactly how it works. And it will work the same way over and over again. But the time frame will become shorter and shorter and shorter as the money that people have to do this with runs out. And people catch on to, hey, boy, you can grab onto this thing and exit really, really quick and make a little bit of money. But most people that grab onto it won't exit quick. They won't make a little bit of money. They'll lose everything. And they'll find out something about investing that makes it a little harder than they think it is. When thy money is tied up over here, and this opportunity exists over here, you can't get it out to go get into this opportunity. So many people doing this have never traded a stock in their life. Maybe they've put 10% or 5% or 3% or whatever of their money into mutual funds through an IRA or 401k, but they've never actually done this before. And they have no idea what they're getting into. And by the way, the people leading the charge, the people that got it all together and organized for you, yeah, they know what they're doing too. They're the ones that came in early, said, hey, we should do this thing. And they've leveraged options and things like that. And they've exited and they've made their money. And they're watching all this. And they're thinking, where can we send them next? Maybe Dogecoin. Huh? Yeah. You know, they use that to tip on Reddit, don't you? I just found out they use that to tip on Pornhub. There's 128 billion Dogecoins out there, but we're going to push it to $1. That's the next thing. Yeah. And it might work. And I'm not saying what I'm done or anything, but you might take a couple $100 and might buy it for $0.015 and put in a sell order instantly at 4 or 5 cents. And if it happens, it does. And if it doesn't, you don't really care. You know, but if you can make $250, $500 on that emotional play, that's what you're going to do. And that's what they're going to do on a much bigger level. This will end badly. I know a lot of you are outraged that they won't let you buy it now. I understand where you're coming from, but I know what comes next. Hopefully now you do too. Take care, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another one.